the solutions that will change the things that need to be changed in the world actually exist. It's just that people are often disconnected from each other, from relationships, from ideas, and from knowledge, and that creates a sense of isolation and powerlessness. And so, yes, we see yes as a force for creating a sense of connection and light, so people will see not just their common interests, but also common possibilities, ways they can learn from each other in addressing the issues that concern people and communities around the country and the world.
They're always like setting trends, I think, in what people will start covering down the line because of that community-centered and grassroots approach to storytelling.
So many of the pieces are written by individuals that are from those communities and pointing towards the importance of, lived experience in our storytelling efforts, because the lives that we've had are as important, if not more, than the statistics we use to tell our stories.
The fact that Yes is ready to interview across class barriers, across the class divide, across racial divides, across lines of gender and religion. I find that incredibly powerful, because it's only by traducing the lines that capitalist colonialism has introduced that we will be able to overcome them. And Yes has always been looking to sort of breach those barriers, and that's why I've been tremendously grateful for it. And I think that without that kind of visionary storytelling, we're not going to be able to tell ourselves a story of how we overcome the situation that we're in right now.
And it is obvious that Yes Magazine comes from this perspective that it is centering the views and needs of people who are experiencing violence from the system. So that's supportive and important and needs to continue.
One of the exciting things about Yes Magazine is that it's trying to look holistically at the problems that we're facing and what needs to be done. So whether that involves labor, whether it involves the environment, Indigenous rights, or cross-border solidarity work, if it involves the global economy, Yes has a type of range that can encompass those different issues.
Because the solutions that Yes looks at are about also wellness, right? And healing, reparations. And I think that is an extraordinary way to look at the news, especially given, the current sort of like place we are in society right now, the state of the world. I think we need more stories that come from the heart and offer people solutions and how to address and tackle all that's unfolding right now.
A big part of what we are up against in the world today is a problem of imagination. We are so often stuck in what politicians are giving us right now, what the apparent limits of the possible are. And Yes is kind of committed to expanding that sense of possibility.
So what's great about Yes is it tells you, here's the long-term strategy, here's what it's based on, and here are the steps we can take right now to move into the right place in the future.
It gives you hope. A lot of these things can feel huge and overwhelming and like there's nothing we can do. And I can just think of individuals I've connected with for Yes stories, or other stories that I haven't written that were published within Yes, and just seeing like, here is this huge issue that feels overwhelming. And here is a person who found some way to chip away at that larger issue and with whatever skills they had.
What will it take to address these massive problems that we're facing? And in my opinion, and I think a lot more people are realizing this now, that the biggest one of all is climate and ecological breakdown. The only way out of this that I see to make the kind of massive, rapid change that we need is to get so many people in the public to make this their top priority. And since the fossil fuel industry and the capitalists have basically captured the mainstream media, independent publications that are telling the climate truth, like Yes Magazine, are critically important. My hope for the future of Yes Magazine is really simple, just that more people would read it. And I know that they'll keep, bringing out new voices, and they'll keep telling the stories that we need to hear, and they'll keep telling the truth about capitalism and about the fossil fuel industry, bringing up indigenous voices of people on the front lines. So they're doing a great job. They got to keep doing it, and more people need to start reading it.
I would hope that Yes Magazine continues to grow, continues to be a voice for those of us who want to see a better world, a world where there's more justice and less poverty, a world where people of diverse backgrounds come together to work on solutions. I think Yes will continue to be a place where you can learn about all of this. Nurture our curiosity.
For as long as there are the kinds of stories that Yes reports on that show us that even in these times, surrounded by this kind of climate catastrophe, by this raging inequality, by vast levels of hunger, all of this is still not enough to stop movements from fighting back, resisting, and flourishing. Insofar as I can turn to Yes and see those reminders that every day we fight and every day we win, I think that that's something we can all take heart from.
Over the coming years, we're really focused on growing access to the magazine in ways that provide meaning and resources to larger and larger numbers of people, because that's what the work requires. The scope and scale of change that's needed in our communities and in the country requires that more and more of us feel empowered and engaged in the powerful work of building more equitable and sustainable communities.